Hi, this is Evans at motorcycle.com, and we are here on the Angeles Crest Highway just north of Los Angeles, and we have got two great bikes to go head to head today. We've got the Indian Chieftain and the Harley Davidson Street Glide.
What I think this is going to, measure up to be, Evans, is probably one of the most anticipated cruiser showdowns in the last decade. Indian has a 20-year history of starts and failures, and finally now with the Polaris money and corporate backing, they're able to establish a motorcycle that can really take the fight to Harley Davidson.
The designers at Indian really did a good job of balancing modern touches with the deco styling of the Indian motorcycle. You can see it in the chrome work, even in the switchgear up here, the curves of the grips. Everything seems to have a modern edge, but in a more classic style. One nice feature of the bike is this windshield, which will go up and down. So around town or in warm weather, I keep it all the way down to get maximum airflow. But on cold mornings, I can bring it all the way up so that I'm actually looking through the windshield and I'm in a nice pocket of still warm air. Here we are looking at the engine, the Thunderstroke 111 V-twin. Clearly air-cooled. It's got an oil cooler down here, that helps. But what I really like of the design of this is all the metalwork they have up here. It's a completely modern engine, but it doesn't look like it. It looks very caught in a past era, and I think that's one of the nice things that Indian has done.
Okay, so the big thing with the new Harley Davidson models is the Rushmore project, which is basically a focus on the entire bike. From the new linked ABS brakes that it has, revised fairings, revised luggage, and first and foremost though is something astounding is their new entertainment system. Fully integrated GPS into the dashboard up here, remarkable sound quality. Let's take a closer look at this. Yeah, so Harley's new boombox entertainment system is so all-encompassing, it's got its own owner's manual. When you turn on the bike, up comes this cool little fire-branded Harley Davidson logo. After it comes up, it brings you into your stereo, where you're at on the radio. And then also, it is a touchscreen up here, so if, for whatever reason you're not using the switch gear, you can also go up, touch it that way and put in, if you have a destination, great. If you just want to, view the GPS, see where you're at, you hit the map button. Nice big centralized screen to look at. Fantastic job. And the music itself, let's see. Like I said, sound clarity is loud and clear, and you can hear it going down the freeway with a full face helmet on. Fantastic.
One of the nice features of the Chieftain is the wireless key fob that unlocks the saddlebags. You just press the button and it can open. Another nice feature is how easily it comes off the bike. You just flip these two levers up and it pulls right off. Now I have to admit I cheated a little bit. I unplugged this first because it just would take a little bit longer than we had time for in the video. Okay, over here on the left grip is the main control center for the infotainment system. You can scroll through your different modes. Bluetooth, you can connect to your phone. You select different options with these arrow controls right here. It's a really nice and handy way of doing it.
Another thing Harley's been applauded for this year is the remake of their saddlebags. They've got a new lever release system back here, and then also just a couple of quarter turn fasteners. After the bag is off, it reveals the rear shock. You do have some preload adjustability. You can just screw in right here. Kind of nice, very easy setup. One thing that Harley is still failing on is 2 inches of travel back here. On the smooth roads that we've been riding, it works fine, but once you throw some bumps into it or you get on the freeway with some of the cuts in the freeway and just some of the bad roads we have here in the United States, you really start to feel the jolts. So that's something Harley still needs to improve on, is the length of travel in their rear suspension.
Okay, so the 2014 Indian Chieftain. This is an impressive motorcycle. It handles very well. Its ergonomics are nice. It's definitely a good-looking machine. The time that we've been out riding today, my gosh, every time we stop, somebody's coming up and wanting to look at it and talk about it. Everybody's curious. I mean, it has one of the most significant names in motorcycling. And, you know, with the last 20 years of failures of, startup companies for Indian, it's so nice to be aboard one that performs as well as this one does. I really think Polaris has, got a winner on their hands. It's not perfect, compared to the Street Glide that we're riding today. The Street Glide has it beat in the braking department by a long shot. As hard as you want to squeeze on this lever, you just do not get the same braking forces as you do out of the Harley Davidson.
Okay, here we go for a little ride. Clutch speed's really nice and smooth, easy to get going. Love the exhaust note. Sounds pretty good. Going downhill a little, so acceleration's nice and smooth. This section of road's a little bumpier than what I've been riding on earlier, so I'm feeling a little bit of this harshness in the rear suspension in my butt. So this bike, the Harley, the Street Glide, prefers smooth pavement with this taut rear suspension. What I noticed when approaching a corner is that it seems to steer a bit lighter than the Indian. It turns in really easily and adjusts lines mid-corner a little bit easier with a little bit less effort, which is kind of funny considering that the bars are not as wide as on the Indian. Back through the gears, here we go. The Harley definitely seems to rev quicker than the Indian. So I'm going through a right-hand corner, rolling on the throttle. So far I haven't had to touch the brakes. It's just a tight, windy section of road, just using the engine braking. Likes to lean over nicely. Nicely. Up, touchdown. Tightening up, decreasing radius. Whoa, I had to go around a rock there. It changed lines really easily, no drama.
Well, we spent the day up here riding these bikes back and forth, and it's been a pretty interesting experience. I think that we can pretty much agree that we don't have a clear winner yet. We're going to have to put our heads together, take some notes, and see how it turns out. I think we both found things that we liked a lot about the bikes. I particularly liked the riding position of the Indian. It seemed to suit me really well. I think that you're going to disagree.
Not necessarily disagree, Evans. I think the Harley just has me sitting more, up and down. And honestly, I just have a weird disc, and that puts pressure on it. It's a little bit more, lean back, relaxed cruiser seating position. But, that's not to say, like I said, you like that. I kind of prefer this. But I think what's really tough is between these two bikes is, yes, I mean, they are actually so equally matched. It's going to take some concerted effort back at the office, going through the scorecard and looking over notes to really come up, because you've got, I think, a Indian with one of the prettiest, best designed V-twin engines in history.
Yep.
That thing is absolutely gorgeous. Better in person than any picture I've seen so far. But I like the Harley engine better. It's smoother. It seems more willing to accelerate and spin up revolutions.
Yeah, both bikes seem to have gotten, we're talking about casual observers now, people we bumped into, some criticism for this styling. Some people think that this is a little too deco, or they like the link to the DNA of Indian. Other people have said that from afar they don't like the color of the Harleys much, but then they get close to it, they see that the way the light wraps around the semi-gloss paint, the semi-matte paint, I guess is a better way of saying it. And so that they really seem to like that. I'm sort of two minds on these bikes. If every road were tight and twisty and smooth, I think I'd go with the Harley for all the reasons you mentioned about the engine. But if I were thinking of an everyday ride, I feel like the Indian, the Chieftain, has more versatility for the type of stuff that I want to do, the broad playing field. So take a look at motorcycle.com to see how it all worked out.